Here we are in front of George's 2008 Volvo 780 with a D16 and an ishift engine. Let me give you a close-up tour of this truck. I'll just talk as I get up nice and close here. The headlights are new, the lenses. The rock chips are very, very minor. You have to look pretty close to see them. I'm really happy to see too that the chrome, this grille is often in really rough shape, but this one I think has been protected quite a bit because of the moose bumper. You see how that bar is right in front of the chrome. I'll just go nice and slow. So remember, the driver's side is always where the majority of the oncoming chips and road gravel comes up, and this one is in super shape. This is usually one of the worst spots right there. The steer tires are super. You've seen some of my other videos. I like to look at the front edge of this step. And that one's great. So these decals are just like Jack and Danielle Mayer's truck. And this has fewer marks in the decals than Jack's does. Sorry, I spoke Canadian there for a moment. Decals, not decals. So we have one scrape here, and that's one that, if we're taking this off and putting a bed on, of course this back step is removed. But that's certainly something that can be touched up and painted if necessary. This has two 150-gallon tanks on it. You see that little exhaust pipe is from the Webasto cab heater. Fewer than normal marks on the back. This is tar, this black stuff. So there's a chip, but overall this one is in fantastic condition. I think the rear wheels, they need a polish. There's some scratches inside there. They're nice to begin with. You can see that it's got a little bit of just some rash there from over time. 11R22.5 Michelins. These are California compliant tires. They're in great shape. These do not have to be changed. They're virgins. As we go around the back of the truck, you're going to see we've got one new airbag on the right hand side. I'd probably change the left hand side Volvo airbag just to match. Right, that one on the right is new. The one on the left is original. I would probably change it just to match them up. George just did all the brakes on this truck on the rears. New drums, new shoes. There's the proud owner in the background there. There's George. We'll talk to him in a minute. We're going to go for a test drive. So this crack, that's one of those that I would probably fix just from the back and support it. It's pretty hard to see that from, well, you can see it from a ways back. Again, up to you whether that's worth fixing. So here on this decal, you can see this corner of the decal was worn off. This side of the truck, just like the driver's side, is in nice shape. Now a blemish that I found here, see this scrape? So some of that I'm going to be able to buff out, but this is through to the undercoat underneath. And again, that might be a spot to touch up. This scratch is very common. If someone opens the door and then tries to put this fairing down, they pull these handles, that's what that scratch comes from. So this scratch here, I know I can buff that one out. This one is through the paint, so touch-up paint I think would fix that one and this little one. Let me take you inside. So George is a shoes off driver. That is the engine heater right here, and he's going to be taking that with him. You know what? When you look at the pedals, this usually tells you whether somebody's been wearing shoes or not. And if you look, see, very, very little wear. And look at the floor. Excellent. Same with the seat. So George had 3 loads just in the last few days. And this is the way his truck looks. Here's the floor. This truck does not have the workstation configuration. That is actually just a lower bed. There's the refrigerator behind the driver's side. This truck also does not have an inverter, but of course that can be added. And we'll look at the dash on the passenger side. That mark there is some adhesive. It looks like a calendar or something was stuck on there. I think that'll come off. This is how a truck is supposed to look when a guy's driving. Nice and clean. I've gone through the codes. There's nothing. The engine hours all check out. And we'll take it for a test drive. George has got a 500 horsepower D16 in this truck. And those of you who have seen my previous builds, this is identical to Jack and Danielle Mayer's truck. So we're in a little bit of a tour around the city here, going for a test drive. We've done an inspection of the truck, and the truck is immaculate. You'll see outside it's in fantastic shape. And mechanically, certainly going for a test drive as well as looking at the truck and inspecting it, it's in super shape. Just listen. Taking a look inside of George's truck, it is exceptionally clean. George is a driver with socks on. Shoes come off inside and it's really apparent. If you look in the back, there's the floor. Beautiful. This is what George's truck looks like right off the road. Let me turn the camera around and show you the dash as well. So meet George. George calls himself a business person. He takes care of his truck. And just look. That's what a truck is supposed to look like inside. So we're stepping onto Stony Trail here. We're doing already 105 kilometers an hour. So that's... Oh, I love the D16s. There you go. Oops, sorry about the bump. So we're pinned. We're probably doing 138 kilometers, 140 kilometers an hour.
138. That's it.
No movement in the steering wheel. You saw George actually took his hand off there for a little bit. This thing, you know, no vibrations in the floor. Sounds perfect. That's 65 miles an hour. There's 120. We'll give you a tour outside the truck. But boy, this is a beautiful truck. Well, we're back in the city, and we'll be doing a little bit more slow driving, so it's an opportunity to hear and see how this behaves at some of the slower speeds.
Needs a little bit more attention.
So George is putting his foot into it pretty good. So it's shifting a little bit higher.
Oh, I can go slower.
Yeah, give us one just a little slower.
All right.
Because that was foot into it, I know.
No problem.
So what we're going to see on this next acceleration from the lights is the RPMs aren't going to go up quite as high. I'll try zooming in here a little bit. There you go. 7th gear, 8th gear, 1200 RPMs is where it's shifting.
Right in the middle of the green.
So I've had a chance to drive probably hundreds of these trucks, and this truck is shifting exactly like a brand new truck. George was telling me that they just did the transmission in this truck. Well, the flywheel and the clutch.
And the clutch. Not the transmission.
Yeah, not the transmission. Flywheel and the clutch. New air compressor just a little while ago. That's a 12-hour job that they did.
Yes.
Because of course that air compressor is right at the back of the D16. You've got really nice California compliant tires on the rear.
Yes, they're
and
Michelin.
The front. Yeah.
They're compliant with California new rules.
But I think, you know, really, we've got very, very little that needs attention on this truck. We've got, needs glass as usual, right? I mean, it is a truck that's on the highway.
So the windshield is all right.
Yeah.
There are a couple stone chips, but it's all right.
So you've been happy with this truck? It's been a nice one for you.
Oh yeah, this truck feeds 6 people, all my family, so I treat it as a business, not a simple truck. So I treat the maintenance and the driving and everything with the truck like a business. That's why it's been serving me so well for 6 years. And I can guarantee you whatever takes over the truck that he will enjoy.
George,
I enjoy it, and I made a lot of money with this truck in the last 6 years.
Well, George, you're saying the new one you're looking at is one of the extreme efficiency D13s, the low
Yes.
RPM.
I'm interested to see the fuel efficiency of this truck. And if it is what it is, the advertising, then I will buy it just because of the fuel prices. But I'm sure that the pleasure of driving this truck is gonna be only one because of the D16 and 500 and the higher torque compared with the transmission. And it's real pleasure to drive this truck. It doesn't matter if you're empty or 80,000 pounds. There is no difference because the torque is so much and the horsepowers and everything. I can recommend it to everybody.
Well, George, thanks for taking us on a test drive with your nice truck. Appreciate it.
No problem.